The zebra of the Serengeti are also forced to flee the drought. They reach the Kenyan plains following the same route as the wildebeest. There are not as many zebra, no more than 600,000. They are not as highly strung and better organized. They carefully choose a place to ford the river. Even in the crush, each mother watches her young, ready to respond to any threat to its safety. On the banks, the vultures wait for the river's current to claim its victims. Some are lucky enough to have their lunch delivered at their feet while they wait. However, neither Ruppel's griffon vultures nor African vultures are able to tear apart a corpse that is still intact. If a lappet-faced vulture is nearby, it will perform the task. If not, they'll have to wait for a specialist butcher, and the River Mara has plenty of those. Predator or scavenger, the crocodile does both jobs equally well. And as it can scent blood from miles away, it is always quick to arrive at the site of a feast. Although it is generally believed that crocodiles are big eaters, their stomachs are in fact no bigger than a basketball, and they can only swallow small quantities at a time. When sated, they will sometimes hide lumps of flesh under a rock, not because they prefer rotting meat, but simply to stock up for the next bout of hunger. Mid-September, the main body of the wildebeest migration is assembling near the river. Over the last few days, they've been arriving in waves of 1,000 or 2,000. This time, the vultures will be richly rewarded. The banks of the River Mara have rarely witnessed such numbers. The wildebeest are in a dreadful state. The plains have been trampled on for days, and there's nothing left to graze. The youngest and the weakest collapse and remain where they fall. Driven by hunger and urged on by the mass, the first few rows jump. The rest follow, transfixed by this wild frenzy. But the first among them discover it was a deadly trap. The opposite bank has a steep wall that the wildebeest can't climb. Some 50,000 animals are trying to ford the river at this point. It's too many. This breathtaking spectacle is turning to tragedy. Finally, they've found a way out. One tiny bottleneck for all of them. Curiously, the wildebeest change their itinerary from year to year, never reusing the crossing points from the last migration. This year's choice is certainly deadly, but no memory will remain in the minds of the survivors. Gradually, peace returns to the River Mara. The number of dead is incalculable. This herd of wildebeest has paid very dearly for its annual passage. "20 or 30 kilometers downstream, a stretch of river claimed by a herd of hippopotami has been turned into a stinking mass grave. Just days ago, the vultures were scrapping over dried-out carcasses. Now, they are proud possessors of a great stockpile of dead meat. The build-up of carcasses is highly dangerous for the Maasai Mara ecosystem. The stench of pestilence is already spreading across the grasslands. The river has to be cleaned, and these carcasses cleared away before pollution sets in. The vultures cannot manage the task alone. They always come up against the same problem, ripping the entrails from a carcass that is still intact. The only alternative to waiting for help is to let it decompose. The carcasses have reached the territory of another herd of hippopotami even further downriver. There's enough here to satisfy an army of crocodiles. But not these vegetarians, who, judging by their reaction, also have strict rules about hygiene. The hippopotami don't want anything polluting their stretch of river, and promptly set about cleaning up. One by one, the carcasses are piled up in one spot. It has taken just one day to amass hundreds of wildebeest on the riverbanks. Meanwhile, the crocodiles have so gorged themselves that it's all they can do to steer lethargically between the carcasses, indifferently watching them drift by. In the annals of the Maasai Mara, this season will go down as one of the most devastating ever for the wildebeest, but as an outstanding year for the scavengers.